What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Turbo Talon Golf. It's Monday the 15th of December in the year of our Lord Jesus Christ 2025. Today in the garage simulator, I'm going to play FlyinFatKid and Hosel Rocket Golf's leagues for this week because they both renewed. Some legal details up front. I'm probably going to use some harsh language. I'm just going to talk like I would normally talk. And also, I will not be monitoring the chat. This is just a live stream for you to kick back and enjoy. No need to put stuff in the chat. And I probably won't mention that again, so there's inevitably going to be somebody in the chat who is confused as to why I'm not answering them. That's why. If you didn't start watching the video from the beginning, then you won't know that. FlyinFatKid's League. Okay, looks like GS Pro's thinking good and hard about everything. 4-foot gimmies, green tees. He's got the green firmness set to hard with a 9 stimp. That is a strange combination, but I'm sure it'll take 5 holes for me to get used to it, perhaps the whole round. Links, fairways, breezy wind, Sunday pins. Blah, 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 blah. I warmed up a little bit. Things are okay, but I wouldn't say, based on what I saw on the range, it's going to be a career round. But who the hell knows? It really depends on how many hazards and out of bounds places there are on the edges of the fairway, and how difficult the greens are. Not necessarily their speed, but how not flat they are, right? Obviously a lumpy green is gonna be aggravated even further by if it's fast. I see stuff, the back of people's houses. I see 290 to the pin. I see a tailwind. We're at 1,000 feet of elevation. We're downhill. Let's smash a golf ball, and hopefully we don't go through the OB in the back, but I don't think we're quite hitting that well today. No, it's high and right, but it'll be in this clearing next to the, up in front of the bunker, so I'm not too worried about it. Now we had hard greens at a 9 stimp, and we're short-sighted, so who the hell knows what's going to happen here. I did not practice any chipping, so whatever happens, happens, huh? That was fat. That'll be in the bunker. Leading us to what I can only assume is going to be the first hole bogey or double bogey that I basically always do. And we are not helping ourselves. Probably a double bogey. Looks like I've never played golf in my goddamn life, but I assure you I have. And this is going to be probably the story of the round. It's weird having low stimp but hard firmness. I don't really know how to play these. Yeah, so this is going to be a double or a triple on the first hole. Super short hole, shouldn't have been that way. Hopefully we can overcome that. But it really, the hole sucked ass right off the tee box, so now we got the wind in our face. You guys, this is why I kind of quit renewing the Turbo Talon League. It's basically dead, is because A, I don't have time for it, and B, it gets to the point where you're just doing the same old shit that everybody else is doing. you're changing the stimp and the hardness of the fairway and the hardness of the green and the tee boxes just to like keep things interesting. I don't find any interest in that really. It was fun for the first couple of weeks, but then it quickly got to be just something that I knew I had to do on Monday morning, which there's 11,000 other things I got to do on Monday morning as it is, so no go. And I'm sure the 14 people that were in the league won't miss it, so it doesn't matter. All right, we are short, but I think we were at a deep rough. Let's look at the numbers real quick. Total length's irrelevant really in this situation. Carry was 70, so we lost 30 yards of carry out of that lie. Would you really lose that much carry out of that lie? That ain't for me to say, I don't know. But I play a lot of golf outside, and losing 30% of your carry out of that lie seems a little, I don't know, egregious. So you see we got a lot of bounce, which tells me something. I realize we're on our way to another double bogey here, but the ball didn't roll, but it did bounce. So once the ball has landed on the fairway, it's no longer airborne. We're going to need to play this like 9 stimp. So I guess that kind of makes sense. Everything's going to like come up short for a while until I get my bearing, because everything else I've been playing, to include the greens outside, have been about 11 or 12 stimp. And you can see none of these greens are flat at all. So it's just going to be exploratory effort for everything. And then shit like that, that's back-to-back double bogeys. Yeah, I don't know. Let's just play some golf. You guys, don't sit in this stream if you want to see good golf. Sometimes I do have a really good round where I go subpar, but it's not typical. But I'll try to keep the commentary lively, and that's about all I can promise you. Just sit back, enjoy the stream. Maybe we can hit that far. Tell you what, let's use this shorter bottle cap tee with the mini driver, because this 20 millimeter tee is already ruining my day. Let's see if this one goes straight. No, but I hit it off the heel. That was, this is pretty embarrassing compared to how I was playing yesterday, but let's have a good time. Guys, we're talking about a 300-yard par 4, and I'm still 130 yards out from the deep rough. You would never hit out of this lie. I would tell my buddies I was picking my ball up and they needed to get the hell over it. But we'll see if we can recover from back-to-back double bogeys and now a real not awesome third hole. And that's going to bounce hard, but then won't want to roll. So, and we can use that to our advantage. So this ball is going to bounce hard, but won't want to roll very much. Which we may or may not be able to use to our advantage if my tiny dinosaur brain can wrap its mind around that. All right, there we go. Ball should go about that far. There's no immediate danger. You've got a few yards if you're off the fairway, but for the most part, if you're hitting anything too terrible like I kind of am on this round, you're going to be in that long crappy stuff and you're going to have to make some adjustments out of the rough. That wasn't even heely, that was over the top. So let's just plan on living in this deep rough. Maybe until I get the mini driver under control. But I'll tell you, if the mini driver's that bad, the driver would be nothing you would want to see. Okay, we got to hit the ball toward this bunker, and we got to go a real long way. Let's hit the 3-wood. Would you hit your 3-wood out of this lie in real life? Probably not if your IQ was above room temperature, but this is a video game, and the point is to score as low as possible. That ball fell out of the air, and if it keeps rolling, it's going to be wet, which is just going to further complicate things. But let's take a look at the numbers on that. 135 carry in GS Pro, 222 carry in the lab software. Infuriating is a word for it. But you could say, don't hit in the rough. Like, okay. Don't get in a car wreck. Don't get COVID. Like, it's easy to talk about it, but you just don't know when that shit's gonna happen, right? We'll get it figured out. All right. I can already tell the stream is not gonna be as interesting as it was yesterday. I was just in a very spicy mood. Today I just feel bored. The simulator's pretty boring. I realize there's some of these guys trying to make a living with SimTube content, but you can have that shit. All right, we are gonna get no breaks today. We're already 5 over after 4 holes. Hopefully we can squeak out some birdies and some pars, because I think the course was only 5,000 yards. But we have stupid greens and stupid wind. So take it for what it's worth. And that's nothing against FlyinFatKid, but he's got to do what he's got to do to keep this stuff relevant. Otherwise, it's just the same shit week after week. You go into the list of 2,000 courses on the SGT website, and you pick which one you're going to use for your league. That's all it becomes. I tried to aim left to accommodate the wind, but we're still getting warmed up. Played an outdoor round yesterday, walked 18 holes, and then probably played 4 or 5 rounds here in the simulator. So naturally, because of the age I am tired and sore. All right, that bounced hard, and I thought it would stop rolling because of the stimp, but it seems like every week somebody's got their settings set to diarrhea level, and it just makes the round no fun. And that's what we're going to do here. You can only play so many rounds of just regular ass, 10-foot gimmies, links fairways, soft greens, right? It just becomes repetitive nonsense at that point. Let's see here. All right, that's about the first one we've had all day to include the driving range. That's probably going to bounce back into the bunker. We got lucky there. Usually the GS Pro Chuck E. Cheese physics bounce those back into the bunker, so I'm going to take that one as a W. And that'll drop us a stroke. We got real lucky on that one. But we should probably be getting lots of birdies on a 5,000 yard course. Here you've got a 430-yard par 4, and really the only thing you're fighting is the heavy rough on each side. This is one thing I love about GS Pro is it's got me aimed, right? It's got me aimed over into the rough for no reason whatsoever. I don't know why it does that, but for quote unquote a premium piece of software, I think it should at least aim you into the fairway, because it's getting the number, it's getting this 260 number from my bag mapping. So is it too much to ask to aim me into the fairway? Okay, there's another banana. I'm coming over the top, face to pass 7.6 degrees, and that will do that to you. So we've effectively fucked ourselves on a 430-yard par 5, because I'm going to waste a stroke to get out of here. We've got colliders. I'm going to either take some sort of hero shot, which is going to put me back in the rough, or I'm going to hit out into this fairway, and nobody has time for that, so let's just do a sim drop. There we go. This video is already going to probably be a little too long because it's going to be 2 rounds in one stream. 190 with a bit of a tailwind. What are we thinking here? 5 hybrid. Ball's going to want to go left, but the wind's going to blow it right. Let's see which one wins. Looks like the left one. Bounce right. All right, that's about what I expected. But we're not doing too bad. First stroke was into the rough with the mini driver. Second stroke was a sim drop, and then the third stroke was here. So maybe if we can get near the pin. Nope, that ain't gonna do it. Maybe if we can get near the pin, we can get out of here with a bogey or a double. Guys, it's getting to the point where outside of tournament events for SGT, if I see stupid settings, because none of these leagues give you any points toward your SGT World Golf Ranking or whatever, that I'm just not even going to play them. I'm scared to putt because it's hard green with 9 stimp. And I think that's another double. Dude, that was a triple on a 430-yard par 5. You can tell this is going to be a shit show. Let's finish out the round and do the best we can. 100 yards to the pin, down, down. Oh, this is a tough decision to make. Got a big old tailwind too. Let's see what happens with this here club. That could have been a lot worse. We might be able to get out of here with a par, but the putting's going to be so goddamn difficult. 29 feet up 7, so 37 feet on 9 stimp. I don't know. Maybe that'll get in there. That was actually pretty good. All right, we needed that par. Even if we par every hole from here on out, we're still going to be 8 over, which is, I would say, a little bit unacceptable for a course this short. I mean, you're talking about drivable greens. And if it was yesterday, I would be driving them. It's just not working out today. Why can't I get rid of this slice? And it's right smack dab into that shit. Okay, we were a little bit over the top, 1.6 degrees out to in, and apparently had a little bit open of a club face. So what I'm gonna do from here on out for the rest of the rounds is I'm really gonna strengthen up. I'm gonna close that club face a little and see if we can start to bring these slices back into the fairway a little bit, because they're really, they're hurting my score, because now I gotta do a bunch of bullshit calculations to figure out how to get out of here. I think this may be the club, but I don't wanna be short, so let's do the 50 degree instead. Hell, that might be short. No, that's actually that'll stop. That's amazing. We really needed that. Oh, we're getting real lucky, guys. We're down to 7 over now after a real hard start. You can see, let's just aim for the water. I'm assuming that's some kind of a stream, and see if we can't get over somewhere near the green. I'm going to strengthen up this grip a little bit and see if I can stop slicing. Because if you're slicing with your mini driver or your 3-wood, that means your real driver would be doing some real bad stuff, you know what I'm saying? All right, of course, it's gonna be in the shit. Guys, I just can't hit this club this morning. It's not even morning, it's like 4 p.m. in the afternoon. 100 yards to the pin, we're hit downhill, so this ball's gonna come in like a bat out of hell because of the wind. And I'm hitting out a deep rough, so I've got to do a bunch of calculations in my pea-sized brain here. I'm gonna go with a pitching wedge. Ball's gonna rocket out to the right. Let's compensate over to the left. Boom. And see what happens. That ball just fell out of the air. I'm guessing it's gonna roll into the water. Looked like we got lucky. Let's check the numbers just because I hate GS Pro so much. 89 carry, 107 carry. 30 yards, lost 30 yards of carry. Not a big deal on a drive. That's a pretty big deal when you're hitting a pitching wedge. And then unless this goes in, we're gonna be, what are we looking at, a bogey if this doesn't go in. It ain't flat, let's aim right there and just try to keep it in the circle. And that rolled right over the hole, as it often does in GS Pro. 272 downhill. That means if we get a hold of this ball with the mini driver, which is coming, it just hasn't happened yet, that it's gonna fly past that green. That's a super high 3-wood. Hopefully the wind pushes it, because there's no way this is a par 3, and there's no way we're getting a fairway in regulation. GS Pro just doesn't allow it. 37 yards with a tailwind. Probably could have had a lot worse shots than that. At least it's on the green, right? So this is for birdie and it's flat. Maybe we can sneak this ball in the hole, because We're getting a lot of bogeys and only a few birdies. Not even very many pars. Yep, there's that 9 stimp. I'll take a par. I don't have enough experience in the real game of golf to know if there's hard greens with 9 stimp. Not a greenskeeper. Okay, we're not going to hit that far. It's the mini. That's my drive distance. Let's see if we can get something going here. Nope, there it goes again. So it's over the top, and of course we're going to be of course we're going to be in the fucking heavy rough. Why not? 400-yard par 5, guys, and I could see us screwing this up because now I got to assume I'm going to lose 25%. 25% of 218's like 55 yards. So basically you'd need to hit driver off the deck out of this lie to even think about getting to the green. In other words, don't even think about getting to the green. Coming over the top. Man, it's either one extreme or the other, huh? It's all pretty over the top and all pretty heely. I think that we're, what, 12 holes in? That's just what we're doing today. If you wanted to see good golf on the channel today, you're not probably going to get that. Maybe go watch a soap opera or SpongeBob SquarePants, because this is not happening today. And everything's screwed up. That felt like it should have gone further. Yeah, 38 carry, 28 carry, so it's almost like we're losing 25% out of every lie but fairway. I don't know who makes those rules, if it's the guy who brings the course into SGT, or excuse me, GS Pro. I don't know who makes those rules. In fact, I'd rather not be in here at all, but it's a little too chilly to be playing outside. There's another lucky par, I'd say. So where are we hovering at? Still 8 over. So we're not quite playing bogey golf. If this course was longer, I would be in a lot of trouble because I can't hit for some reason. That wasn't bad, but you can see it's still leaking, and maybe we'll be on the short stuff this time. I don't think we have one fairway in regulation. Not hitting very far. It's just an all-around pretty terrible round of golf going on here, folks. Bounce right. And then that 9 stimp is going to stop that ball dead in its tracks. Plus, I think we hit the back of a hill. Let's just make sure this gets in the circle. So we got to hit about 19 feet, and it's going to start to leak really hard to the right, and it's not going to want to stay in the circle. All right, we got pretty lucky there. That was a pretty bad read. Another par. 14th hole is a 150-yard par 3 with a bit of a tailwind. It's actually playing about 147. Let's see if I can get up there nice and close to the pin with a crisply struck 9-iron. But that is To be determined, right? It's fading. I needed it to draw. Should get a good bounce. But we're still, with the small gimme circle, we're still in danger of a bogey. Let's see what we can do. 41 feet, I'd say we need to hit this about 48 feet to get to the pin. Leaking right, leaking left, my bad. I'm happy with that. Holding it 8 strong. Let's look at the scorecard. Pretty rough round, guys. That's what that scorecard tells me. Let's see if we can straighten this mini driver out. I'm not sure why you would be aimed into the middle of a field. GS Pro, guys, come on, dude. Like, I've paid 2 years now, so I've given you 500 of my dollars. Could you fix the stupid little things that are plaguing this software? Stop fucking around, pull your heads out of your asses, and fix some of the small stuff. No, we're still going right pretty hard. But that was over the top, so that's going to go right. Over the top and Healy. We're on the fairway though. You can see this ball's still going. Still going. There we go. 203. What's our 203 club? We got a crosswind. Basically need to hit your 210 club here. That's somewhere between a 7 wood and a 4 hybrid for me. Let's just hit the 7 wood. Maybe try to go past the green rather than land in front of it. I don't know. I'm not a golfer. Oh boy. We're having a rough go here, boys and girls. We're coming way over the top. I would say that of the problems I'm having here with the longer sticks, the over the top is 100%, like 98% of the problem. So if we can fix that, we might be okay for Hosel Rockets League. FlyinFatKid's league's kind of out the door here. There's too many good players in that league to expect to score anything worth a shit with a 8 or 9 or 10 over, wherever we're going to end up at. And then there's your dreaded double pitch, double chip shot. We'll take that. What's that, bogey? No, we got a par. So we're hanging steady. If we can par this hole out, we'll be at 0.5 bogey. Let's hit a 9-iron here. Try to compensate for the ridiculous amount of wind. There we go. That felt a lot more crisp. That's a really good shot. It's probably going to bounce off the green though. I don't know. There aren't a lot of courses like this in Utah. And there are a lot of courses in Utah. So however you want to frame that, that's up to you. Let's see if we can get something to do something here. It's going to take a shitty first hop because of the firmness. And we have gone coast to coast. That was pretty hot. Was it a little bit, was it scully? it wasn't a skull shot, but it needed to hit higher on the face. And okay, we're in. I think that's bogey. We were going to be at 0.5 bogey, but not happening now. 259, 17th hole. We're almost done with this god-awful round on this god-awful course with these god-awful settings. Yep. That's perfectly normal to be aimed that far over to the left. I don't see any issue with it. I'm probably the stupid one. The stream is thick with sarcasm today. This course is pissing me off. These settings are pissing me off. I can't hit a golf ball, etc., etc. Okay, that's a little bit better. That would have been, I think if that had hit the green because of the firmness of the green, it still would have gone off the back or been clear toward the back. So I guess you could say we're lucky the sand stopped us. And then that's gonna go, 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 go. Let's see if we can at least get out of here with a Parsky. Guys, 9 over on a 5,000 yard course. Not going to be something that I'm bragging about at work tomorrow. I'll get in there. I think we can get it in the hole. All right, we're clinging to a sub 10 over par round here, like a turd in your ass hair. Let's see here, 300 yard par 4. Maybe we can get out of here with a Parsky. Let's see where GS Pro's got us conveniently aimed here. Yep, that's exactly where I would want to hit, bar none. Perfect aim. There we go. How about that? Okay, that's fading to the right. I don't think we have a fairway in regulation in this round. I'm still coming over the top, so that's not anybody's fault but mine. Let's see if we can get out of here. Turn around, 10 mile an hour of wind, plus the ball's going to eject right. Let's just aim over here, nice and easy. Take it sleazy, and let's get out of this round here. That is not going to be the shot we're looking for. I wouldn't be surprised if that bounces down into the bunker. Guys, you can't have a great round every day. That's just kind of not how it works. Where the hell did I put my wedge? There's my wedge. I am way guilty of overtraining. I'm just hitting everything so thick. Oh shit. All right, so we're gonna be well over 10, but we did our best. Mostly my inability to hit the ball. Some of it is the stupid settings in this round, combined with, I haven't seen many courses like this where you were either on the fairway or in the deep rough, but that ain't for me to say. I'm not a course designer. Okay, looks like we took a 5 on that par 4, bringing us to exactly 10 over. You guys can see the scorecard. Back 9 was fine. If we would have played the front like we played the back, we only would have been a few strokes over par. Instead, we're sitting in the low 80s. Stats are going to be horrendous. We hit 1 out of 14 fairways, and apparently that was how far the ball went on that particular fairway. Nothing to write home here about other than the round was pretty short. We only had 47 feet of putting. Like, this was just a real dog shit round overall. So let's go play Hosel Rocket Golf's round for the week and see if it's any better, or if he also decided to use some undesirable settings. And I was going to play the Tips Tour today because it renewed, but there ain't no way in hell I'm playing that today the way I'm swinging the golf club. Where's Hosel Rocket shit? Hit your lines at Whispering Pines. Okay. Certainly never played Whispering Pines. Just kidding, I've played it 100 times. He's got this set up. This is basically a fun league setup, depending, I don't remember Whispering Pines, I just know I've played it. 6,000 yard tees, soft greens, hard fairways, stimp 11, all of your normal stuff for what I hope will be a normal round, but I'm not able to swing the golf club, so just sit back, enjoy the stream. If you guys are putting stuff in the chat, have fun with that. I'm not monitoring it. Just background noise. That's all this should ever be, is background noise. Now, in a couple of seasons, when I'm getting closer to single-digit handicaps or scratch, sure, this could be something fun to watch. But even when you watch like I don't know, like Jamie Bristow and his buddies play, or JT Walsh, or those guys, or Joe Legowski, like, it's almost the opposite effect. They're playing so well that it starts to make you so you want to multitask because you're just kind of mad at them. The rounds today will be the opposite of that.
An exclusive course only found on GS Pro. The Par 72 course offers sweeping views in a challenging layout that winds through a pine forest built into a rocky mountain. You will find good shots are rewarded. Good luck and enjoy your round.
Okay, some of these courses have the opening dialogue. This is one of them. What do we got here? A 270 yard par 4. Dude, I don't even know what I want to do here. This is, well, I mean, based on how we're hitting, just sling it over there and see what happens. But you can see you're either on the fairway or in the deep rough again. So this one should be fun. How about we say that? That shot had really nice trajectory, but it was Healy. So it was slightly over the top, but it was Healy. If we could have been slightly over the top and hit off somewhere near the center of the club face, we'd have been a lot better off. We can attack these pins a little more aggressively because of the soft greens. We're not going to be rolling from hell to breakfast like in that other league we just played. And you've got to get it to the green for the soft greens to take effect. I don't know what's going on with this little, looks like a mow line. I don't know if that's how the real course is. And then looks like we're looking at a opening double bogey as usual. So maybe a bogey. If I can't get it into the blue circle, then we deserve a double bogey anyway. So there we go. That should get us in the circle. I don't put too much stock into putting in the simulator unless it's a flat putt, because it's a fucking video game and who cares. Let's see here. 260. Oh yeah, if I didn't mention it, there's going to be foul language in this stream. There you go. You've been warned. Foul language and a healthy dose of sarcasm. Everybody and everything pisses me off. It ain't going to go that far. It's probably going to be over to the right, but least you get to see my Windows taskbar there. Yep, there's your banana slice, hole 2. That's probably going to put us in a pretty precarious position. And we'll need to think about a sim drop. We've got some sort of graphical artifact here, or we're inside of a tree. I don't know. But it's just more of what I love about this super awesome software. It says it's deep rough, but it's clearly like packed dirt. Nothing I haven't said before. If you look at a lot of these other software ecosystems for Unicore and those other ones, you get some sort of an indicator of your lie and how much juice you're going to lose when you hit. I don't know why these guys can't do that. Okay, you could see that that hit off of absolutely nothing. There was just a collider there floating in space. I'd do the replay for you, but there's no point. 191, and the ball's going to go way, way, way to the right. You guys, a normal idiot would stop playing when they noticed that everything was slicing like a banana off the tee, but you're not talking to a normal idiot here. You're talking to a guy who practices way too much and doesn't know when to throw in the towel. I've essentially got to be injured to not come out here and get my reps in the simulator. Just today so happens to be some pretty shitty reps in the simulator. Like I'd be better off hitting on the driving range. That's thin, maybe it'll sit. Guys, I can't even hit a 58-degree wedge chip shot, so hopefully you're doing something else and not just watching this stream, because this golf is dog shit right now. Bogey. So we're doing a little bit better than the last round. We got back-to-back bogeys instead of back-to-back dubs. I'm guessing this 8-iron is going to be short. Pretty toey there, and honestly it should have been on the green at that yardage, but it was so toey I think we lost a lot of power. And you can see I'm even coming over the top on my medium irons, so I wouldn't expect much out of the rounds today. That is a product of hitting a firm fairway into a soft green. But these guys set their fairways to firm so they can get maximum rollout, because some of them are pretty big hitters, so I get it. Kind of trying to juice those numbers. I've never played on a firm fairway. I've always played on what I would call maybe a, not soft, but just a normal fairway. Let's try to get somewhere in this clearing. That should be a well-struck 3-wood, but let's see what happens. We can go on this journey together. That 3-wood faded a little. Hopefully we can bounce up into the fairway because I believe this is a par 4. It's either a par 4 or a painfully long par 3. And you can see we came over the top Healy again. It is a par 4. Let's see if we can chip up onto this green. And God forbid we hit the fairway first, or it's going to go back into that rock back there. How funny is that? That was basically a gimme and I was not able to execute. I'm just taking so much turf here. Will that work? There we go. Par. Par on a like 200-yard par 4. That's the reason I don't have the scoreboard pop up here, is because I don't want to see how shitty I'm doing against everybody else who's playing this league. But I'm 100% getting beat by the course. Hosel's got fair settings here. There's nothing really I can complain about. Another toey shot. We'll see if it's short or on the pin. It is short. Okay, I think that would have been a gimme birdie with a soft green, but it only carried 125. All right, there we go. I wouldn't mind a few birdies and some pars. Bring us back down. I am not able to hit my mini driver, but if I switched a driver, it would be 100 times worse, so I'm not going to do that either. That was not a bad strike. It was heavy. And of course it ain't going to be a fairway in regulation, because why the fuck would it? But that wasn't bad. So hopefully we have a scoring opportunity here. We're downhill. We got a little bit of crosswind. Got my fat ass gut hanging out under my shirt. Warning graphic content. Okay, not bad. We should be able to get out of here with a par. If I could putt, maybe we would have a chance at a birdie. But I haven't put much stock into reading greens in the video game here. Let's see, we're going 23 feet. And we're going to be just short and just left, which is fine. I'll take pars. We do need to get these, hopefully we could get these 3 strokes off the scoreboard, but if the driver and the fairway woods can heat up, I think we can do that. Just need to shallow the swing out here and really just quit being a moron. No, that was very heely. Maybe it'll bounce back into the fairway. See, you find fairways in the most unlikely of circumstances, because you basically hit into the side of a hill and the ball rolled back into the fairway. We're hitting a 145 shot here. Hopefully we can get our shit together before the turn here. Maybe have a great back nine. That's certainly not going to help us. Toey, toey, toey. Guys, that probably would have been very close to the gimme circle if it would have been online. You can see there's the potential for some really great scoring here. It's just, it's not happening today. Maybe it'll happen tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be league stuff though, depending on when that starts to renew. And I usually start with Auto Putt or Web Plus and move into the harder stuff. So you got SGT, Web Plus, SGT, and then you got Pro, then you got Tips. And somewhere in there, depending on whether you're an Auto Putt guy or not, is Auto Putt, right? Which if you're really good at putting in GS Pro, Auto Putt is going to hurt your score. If you're a poor putter like me, Auto Putt doesn't really affect your score that much. All right, we're coming over the top, chronically Healy. You guys, I mean, you can see the replay. That is 100%, 110% me. We did really well yesterday, and now we're just playing off of fucking adjacent fairways and everything else. So we have 350 yards to go. Normally that wouldn't bother me because that'd be a driver off the deck and then another short shot in, but I can't hit anything. Just sit back and enjoy the ride here. Yeah, even my 3-wood's slicing like hell. Not a bad shot. Okay. Guys, that's more evidence of GS Pro's poor physics. Let's see here. 192. We didn't lose a ton of carry, but we were hitting off the fairway, so I suppose that makes sense. Very, very thin shot. That's probably lucky it landed where it did. If we'd have hit a foot sooner, that thing would have rocketed to who knows where. So you can see we're on in 3. We've got a birdie look. 28, 29 foot putt. Let's just get it up there. I wouldn't say the simulator is a place to learn how to putt. You're going to want to do that outside. Simulator's good for when you don't have a choice. If you can't, if you can invest some money into building a preliminary simulator and then kind of wait for that money to be made back through not golfing outside or whatever. I only use the simulator when I cannot be outside for some reason. That wasn't the shot I intended, but that'll work. So we had a decent, it was decent. It carried 50 yards past where it landed, which is to be expected in these conditions, but let's see if we can get something up on the green for once. That actually wasn't bad. If I was using a premium golf ball, wouldn't chase them as much for starters, but dude, when you lose one of these shitty MAXFLI TRIFLIs out on the golf course, like, you don't care. Like, I was at the golf course the other day and I could see my ball on the other side of the fairway, but because these are only like $1 each, I literally left that piece of shit where it was sitting. Rather than walk over, you know, 80 or 100 yards to get the ball from the other side of the fairway, I was like, it's literally not worth my time. That's how cheap these are. One of these days we'll make a putt, guys. But with the gimme circles so big, you'd have to be really good at 10-foot putts, right? That makes sense? Because you know if you're not on the in the circle, you're at least making a 10-foot putt, you know. Not a bad strike. See if it's anywhere near the pin. Bounce right. All right, that was almost a golf shot. If you're 17 feet away from the pin at 150 yards, that's not bad. That's professional level golf. Give yourself some credit on occasion, right? 17-foot putt. Might go in, might not. We don't really care. It's a fucking video game. We're getting our reps in for the day. And hopefully the weather will hold out a little bit longer so we can get some more rounds of golf in here in December. But I got a feeling that once January and February, March, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get out. All right, mini driver. What the hell? Why can't I hit this thing today? Man, that felt so good, but that's probably going to be over in the weeds. Man, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. 92 through the trees. We're hitting out of deep rough, so we basically need to hit, because of GS Pro's, I don't want to say anything too egregious. GS Pro's math, we need to hit about 115 yards, maybe 120. And it's got to go through a couple trees, so we'll see how these colliders treat us. And you got a headwind too. So have fun with that. Shit. This ball's probably going to go right into one of these trees. Would I care on the real golf course? 100%. I just don't care right now. All right, we careened off of what appeared to be nothing. We're probably lucky to have made it through that far. But you're talking about a shot that should have carried, I don't know, 90 yards. It went half of that. So, yeah, there you go. It's all about math in the simulator. You can't really get a feel for anything. You'll see guys like Joe Legowski. That was a wretched shot. You'll see guys like Joe Legowski he usually edits it out of the film, but he'll actually do calculations with a calculator because he knows what penalties he's taken out of what lies, which you could never really do in real life, and you wouldn't need to. All right, what do we got here? We got a lot of golf to play, folks. A lot of golf to play. This GS Pro's got us aimed off the fairway. That seems pretty normal. Let's check that again. Let's move it back, though, for the distance the Mini should go, in theory. That's a little bit more accurate. There we go. That was still over the top. Guys, I'm keeping my back to the target as long as I can, but you can see it's just not quite enough to prevent the over-the-top swing. And then I'm guessing the reason the ball went left when it should have sliced is because of the face to path was pretty close to zero. The closer the face to path is, the ball's going to go in the direction of the swing path. Now, when your swing path and your face open to close angles start to get too far away from each other, that's when you're going to really start to see the hooks on the slices. But that one was just straight up hit to the left. I teed up. You can't tee off in this particular spot, so you can see that I'm pretty dedicated right now. You can see this shit is just like, it just wants to hang. One thing that I'll do, because we've got a few holes left to play, is I did move the 13 gram weight to the front, and I moved the 1 point whatever gram weight to the back. So I'll switch those real quick. Unfortunately, you've got to watch all of that because I can't pause a live stream. But I will do it as quick as I can and see if maybe that's some of the problem with the mini driver. I don't think it is. I think it's my swing is just so terrible right now. So we got 110 downhill out of a rough. Let's hit a wedge here. Not bad. We did take a penalty stroke because we sliced over into the water though. I'm actually not going to move that weight because it's not going to do anything. If I was still having trouble and my swing path was good, I would maybe think about it, but I think that's a bit of wishful thinking. Ball's tracking to the hole. I think it's going to be short, a little bit short and a little bit left. Another bogey. We're 5 over after 12. I wouldn't say that's too egregious, but this is these conditions are pretty easy. And then we'll just keep on swinging this thing. Yeah, guys, I don't know. Doesn't seem like I just can't shallow it out enough. I can set, oh, we're in for a real nice shot here. I can start pulling that right foot a little bit back and close the stance up, but I think that's all I can do. We only have a little less than half of a round to go. What do I got here? 153 out of deep rough, although it just looks like compacted dirt to me. Let's just hit the 5 hybrid. It's probably going to ricochet off a tree. That is a risk I am willing to take. Nope, it just hit some colliders. It's probably be in that bunker. Yep. Okay. I don't have a problem with that shot. You can see I closed the stance up a little and it's still way over the top. You guys, this happens to professional golfers too. Like, just some days you just cannot hit a fucking golf ball. Nothing feels right today. Oh, that'd have been nice to get that in the circle. It's flat. We might be able to putt it in. Some days, like, you can go from shooting an 80 and the next day like a 95. Like, you just, for some reason, you just can't hit a golf ball. I haven't figured it out, but I think that the person that does figure it out is going to be a very very wealthy individual. That was an unnecessary bogey. I should have taken a little more time with that shot. 152, playing 140 something with a tailwind. Let's hit an 8-iron and see where the chips fall here, where the dust settles, if you will. I didn't want to be left. I am left. Let's see how badly we are punished. Not bad at, well, no, I lied. We're 22 up and 9 right. That sand must be pretty hard, packed pretty hard to have done that. 9 right is my biggest concern. Let's aim over here for that. And then this ball is gonna jump into the air. Should be fun. And that ain't bad, we'll take it. Should be a par. What do we got here at old Whispering Pines? You know what? Since nothing is working, let's just hit regular driver, and instead of having a 200-yard slice, we can maybe have a 200 or 225 slice. Does that sound like something you guys could get into? We'll tee it up nice and low and use the same tee that I'm using for mini because I'm too lazy to change the tee out. And let's see if we can just ramrod this ball to wherever it goes. Yep. So if you can't, if you're slicing your 3-wood and your mini, if you have a mini, you're gonna slice your driver. So that was a fun little experiment. 217 yards of carry is not going, it's not gonna answer the mail, but here we are, we're still doing it. We got 80 yards to go out of deep rough. Let's just not chance anything. We're gonna be hitting a little to the left. Let's aim to the right. Let's aim right there. Guys, if you've never experienced this complete amnesia, where you didn't remember how to golf one day, see, that was bad. A, I'm glad for you, and B, your day's probably coming. Your days are numbered. But I'm pretty sure most golfers have had a really good day and then a day that was not good. And if you're on a 10-degree downslope in a bunker like this, I'll tell you right now, I'm probably moving my ball. That what just happened there wouldn't happen in real life. Unless you literally hit the back of like a 45-degree angle hill, which that clearly was not. Yep, good old SGPRO physics. But that still probably won't roll in the circle. Yeah, okay. These rounds used to really make me mad. If you go back and watch some of my videos, there were some rounds where I was like red in the face. Just couldn't fucking believe what was going on, and how could the game of golf do this to me? But now it's kind of gotten a little more mellow. It's a video game. It's not a very good one. Like I feel like the old Tiger Woods games on the PlayStation 2, maybe the PlayStation 1, those early ones had better physics than SGPRO does. So you can't get really too mad. But I am a 44-year-old trapped in a child's body and a child's mind, and I get pissed off just like everyone else does, right? That kinda wanted to go straight. I don't hate that shot, but you can see we've got a mile to go. We got 245 to go, and we got some water to contend with. And when you hit your drive that far and you still got double that length to go, you better be on a par 5, or you better be playing from the goddamn tips. Because if you didn't get either of those things, man, I don't know, that's just brutal. So let's see if we can get up somewhere near the green. Luckily, we're not hooking the ball, we're slicing it, but let's see if I can find a way to put this in the water. I was joking, but that might be in the water. Oh, no! Dude, I was totally joking. Holy shit. What a self-fulfilling prophecy. Look at that. Because the face angle was only 1.3 degrees open and we came over the top, the ball is going to most certainly go left. So there's your little lesson on launch monitor data there. That was crazy. I said it and it happened. Usually if you say it, it doesn't happen. That was thin, but it might be okay. Holy shit. Guys, I should have known better than to come in the simulator today. Oh, really? You're going to ask me if I want to play it as it lies? Come on, get the hell out of here. I shouldn't have come into the simulator today after walking 18 and playing 5, 6, 7, 8 rounds in the sim. I shouldn't even have come in here. But I'm a firm believer that I got to get my reps in every day. Especially since I'm so far behind the power curve. I'm in my mid-40s and I started playing golf like a year and a half ago. I've got a lot of ground to cover. So I feel like any day that I'm not in the simulator is kind of a waste, and unless I'm injured, right? Okay, so we've gone from a banana slice to a mild draw. And that's all with a 7 or 2.7 degree face to path, so that makes sense. Face to path was 0, that ball would have gone even further to the left, right? Because it was so over the top. Anyway, 100 yards in. Let's just see if we can get it up there. That is not a bad shot. We will take it. I think I already hit in the water. Is this the one I just hit in the water on? No, that was the last hole. There we go. All right, 18th hole, and it couldn't come too soon. We've almost got all of our reps in and we can go do something else. I would love to say that I'm going to take a rest day tomorrow, but that's not true. Let's hit a little 6-iron into this fairway if I can get it to stay straight. And then we should have a little 100-yard approach or so into the green. Well, you look at that. Beautiful strike on the 18th hole when we're almost done practicing. You know what, though? I'll take it. Looks like we're $115 in, playing pretty flat, not a lot of wind. Let's see if we can have a badass approach shot here. It's drawing over. It ain't going to be on the green. Still a good shot, though. Little chip, if we can get it to chip up. We should be in for a par, and we can call it a day on the reps. There we go. Good stuff, good stuff. All right, there's your scorecard. Kind of a tale of two nines. We had a bit of trouble at the beginning of the first 9. front 9, ended up shooting a 39 3 over. And then unfortunately we went 5 over on the back, no birdies. That's not a bad scorecard, 8 over par for an 80. And then this is going to be much like the last round on FlyinFatKid's League, just a bunch of garbage numbers. Tomorrow will be better. If I end up taking a break tomorrow, then Wednesday will be better. But the day after training as hard as I did yesterday, I don't even know what I was thinking coming out here. But it is 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I got all my reps in. Guys, I appreciate you watching. I'm not even going to go onto the SGT website and look at the scores or look at the rankings because these were 2 pretty bad rounds. If you want to go look, I'm obviously turboed Talon. Have at it. I appreciate you guys watching the stream. For those of you who were able to tune in, if you came in late and you put something in the chat and you can't figure out why I haven't answered it, it's because I don't answer. I'm not monitoring the chat. And honestly, it's kind of nice because it doesn't distract from what I'm doing. So I might not ever monitor the chat again. I don't know. Time will tell. But I'm going to sign out. Go have some dinner. You guys have a good one. Thank you for tuning in. If you're subscribed, thank you. If you're not, thank you. I can't tell that anyway, so it doesn't matter. We'll see you guys tomorrow, hopefully for some better golf than this. But that's all I got. Have a good one, guys. See ya.